I did.
It was quite the trip we had back on Sunday.
And then within an hour or two, it was like.
I know, it's like, by the time I left my hair appointment, there was no snow on the road.
So weird.
With the most bizarre idea, and you're right, then the sun comes out and it's all gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was the part of the highway back to, well, I just drive from, but which was sketchy.
Yeah.
And then when I left to go back to Stony, it was like, yeah, it was like a totally different highway.
As long as there's no slush to catch you, because it really
Well,
did
there was.
pull.
There was on the way to
Yeah.
Leduc.
Absolutely. And then it has those, it is broken, you have the little, rush right in the middle of the road, so you didn't dare go fast because of the catch and whatever. Anyways, yeah, we didn't, it wasn't a bad drive, I mean, we were about 40 minutes, maybe.
Maybe not long, I don't think.
40 minutes. Then we did even past and then.
Oh, yeah, we had one guy come in like, out of the highway from there. And then we had one guy pulled over half
Where are you going, right?
like, what's the hurry?
No, come over to my place.
I thought if they're not upside down, the truck isn't on fire, they could stay in the ditch if I come over.
It's gotten worse.
And then,
Because they do come and they have.
my friend, she stayed at my house. And she was very happy that she did because she's like, her friends drove home that night.
Yeah,
She
totally
had bare
rearranged my
dry highways.
work schedule, and I went and did a job after we were
Oh,
done
okay.
here. I went down to the lake, because it's like, oh, I can get there easily and slowly.
See what I mean? Do your way.
Because otherwise I was just going to Edmonton, like, yeah.
I think pretty soon, I think pretty soon.
If I wouldn't have had to get my hair done, I wouldn't have been going to the
And that's a priority.
That was a priority because that was like the only time.
I get it.
Well, yeah, I was pretty rare.
I know, even Sherry's like, you look better, better. I'm like, happy
I
to.
didn't know that.
It's just a little bit of gray.
I've been warm up before it got cold.
It wasn't for my hair doctor, I was really. You know where mine is? It's capped, right around the bottom, around the neck here. And
Oh,
everything else-
mine's like a,
I got the widow's cap.
well, like when COVID, when everything was closed for however long, my mom, she's like, oh, like you really are gray.
It's a nice of her to
I'm
notice.
like, thanks, Mom, where do I get it from? I think that's you.
I used scissors and shears on my hair when COVID was first in. It was like, oh, I was
Well,
overdue for a haircut.
I was very grateful that I have long hair and
Yeah.
that I can rock a hat.
Yeah. Desperate.
Because I was like a
It
ball.
doesn't matter.
I didn't care. In my office, I had a ball cap on every day. Well, that's when you shave it, but I'm not shaving my head.
Cooler in the summertime. Yeah, when I was in the reserves, I used to buzz cut it on my own too, but that's not the same as a haircut.
Yeah, and this, I'm not shaving industry. Did your little girl did it?
I did.
See, it's not bad, then, maybe.
I was just being sarcastic.
I feel like the side is thicker there. That's
Yeah,
kinda
yeah, you
funny.
missed the spot all down here.
It all fell off. You know what's not fair though, even your beard is curly, and that's just not fair.
I know, you can see the kinkiness in it, right?
That's normal though, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but I mean, guys have typically such nice hair.
Typically, what's that mean?
Because women are always complaining they're too curly, too straight, too whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
I still can't wrap my head around this whole, a straightener is for curling and our names don't even correspond to the function. I don't understand what they're doing with their hair, but.
The girls, people that have straight hair want curly hair.
I don't like curly hair.
Straighten my hair.
But I do have a kink. I have just ridiculous. Yeah, I have a kink.
It takes too much effort to fight my hair,
Yeah.
so I just let it go.
No, like if I let it dry naturally, it's wavy. Yeah.
I saw them firsthand, yeah.
But that's ever, growing up, I had the straightest hair, like as straight as hair.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
That's weird.
Yeah.
Just bring the chair, there's one.
Yeah, we're gonna, you know, go away for the weekend and.
I gotta
go to-
Oh, that's right, I forgot.
Nowhere far or exciting, just, you know,
And then Andrew will have
we can go be adults.
Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes that's nice with the kids. Yeah.
50 cuts.
Doing everything else for the, mom and dad. Responsibilities.
I am not gonna be responsible.
When you go to marry yourself,
I think my kids are old enough to carry me to the room, won't they?
if they come out of the room.
Oh, they will.
When I took my kids to Dominican, when
Oh, they have no
she
choice.
was 14, 15.
She stayed in the room?
Yep, didn't come out the whole time, didn't want to hang out with us, didn't let me come.
Oh, no, the boys will
I'm sure do the
definitely,
same damn thing we went to Mexico, it drove me nuts.
Oh,
Just wanted to sit in the room the whole time, or Mexico, Cuba, where, like, we're in Cuba, like, we're out and doing it, we're like, oh, I don't know, if you guys need to get back with me, like,
No,
what the hell, like, I didn't know why you
Oh,
in Cuba and sit in a hotel room, like, it's insane, but.
No.
Yeah,
no, the boys will definitely, they love, like, the ocean, they love the pool.
Well, so did A, but she just, that trip had a,
Interesting.
something up her.
yeah.
They don't, that's never been an option, they've always just come. Do they have the option to stay in the room?
food, we can help ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. Food is always like a big thing for them. It'll be interesting. I think, yeah, we haven't been out of the country since 2019, right? So,
Yeah.
No D,
Okay,
no D.
he's running late, and he'll be about 7:45, so we'll.
Fit him in when he gets here.
you told me 7:30.
I mean, 7:45.
7:30 to 7:45.
We just up a range of time. Okay, so it's 7 o'clock. I'd like to call this, committee of the whole council meeting for March 22nd to order. Are there any deletions or changes?
As the delegation, Mr. Rizzutel is not available presently, I moved that, or I would suggest that we move 3.0 to the bottom of the list.
Correct, yeah. He said he'd be here probably about 7:45, so whenever he gets in here, we'll go to the back of the bus. Okay, is there any other additions? Okay, these additions.
So moved, yeah.
All in favor? That's carried.
That's fine, I actually just suggested that again, let's
Yeah.
clarify, so I actually had it moved, but yes, I'm happy to do so.
Yeah, very good. Okay, so then we will go to 3.1 then, information update regarding the signalization at the school crossing on secondary 778. And as we are talking about this the other day, as we suspected, Mark Smith has contacted me, and the province is not willing to do anything at this time. They are promising that they are working on a plan for the whole province. They're saying that there's many other places like Thorsby having the same issues. And at this time, they can't see anything. We expected that, so I mean, our response, I guess, will be that, we will continue with education. We've got stuff in the paper, looking at maybe an alternate thing, but I think that's pretty tough, right? This time.
Happen overnight.
Yeah, so in the meantime, we'll get back to the school and we'll give them the news and we will tell them that, we just have to through education and move forward.
Yeah, so just from our conversation today, I understand either you and or administration is already making those arrangements to inform Black Gold as to what we've encountered.
Yep. So we want a motion to that effort, to direct administration, Mr. Mayor, please. Thank you. So we can have a recommendation to.
Sure, I move to provide direction to administration to discuss the current state of the secondary 778 signal crossing with Black Gold, staff.
Okay, all in favor? All right, so we'll get right down to the meat and potatoes and 3.2, the budget presentation. So, where is the agenda? Oh, there it is.
I didn't-
Corner, I couldn't see it from here. I'll put you front and center and we'll turn it over to you and CFO Cindy.
Yeah, so Andrew and I worked on this the last couple of days, and I will let Andrew talk to it because it's his department.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Draft budget for 2022. There's a lot of unknown with the cost of supplies and stuff like that. Trucking is going to get more difficult. So be aware that during all this, I'm going to continuously look for our most cost-effective.
Right. And just so you know, that, you know, this is an information thing. We're not gonna vote on it. We're gonna be all toward this. And when we do our final thing on the 24th, that's when we'll come down to the nuts and bolts of what we're gonna do with it. So the more you can give us for information here, and, you know, if we have some questions, we will question, but it's not a decision today. It's just an information thing.
Perfect. So does everybody have a copy of this in front of us? Okay. So our STEP grant, we requested for 63,000.
Oh, that's
6,300, sorry. I'm trying to guess more money already. 6,300. We don't have a date as of yet of when we'll have that exact information. Common salary and wages is 297,000. That's estimated for 3 full-time people. Okay. Benefits 53,460. Common training membership conferences. There was an increase in that. Just for the up to $8,000 for courses that are going to be required for staff members. You'll have to forgive me. This is my first time.
Oh, you think you're
doing
fine.
so, I don't know if you guys want to go through each
That's kind of the
individual
way
one.
we did it
Okay.
before, yeah.
All right. Common mileage and subsistence.
Subsistence.
1,300. That's traveling back and forth to meetings and stuff, and courses. Telephone and cell phone is $3,000.
I was just gonna clarify, I'm assuming I already know the answer, but just clarifying from I guess from yourself, as per our discussion on Sunday, like a lot of these numbers that they were nothing, they were blank on the previous, a lot of those were in the like administrative budget, so it's just that we've shuffled some things around, it's not that
So
they changed necessarily, it's that we've shuffled.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I tried to split what I could
Yes.
split from
Yeah,
the
so
previous
just for
budget.
clarity's sake for everyone else, I guess more than anything, like I said, I'm assuming I already knew the answer, I just thought it was worth pointing out.
Yeah, so yeah, the budget is not,
These aren't necessarily all radical changes that we move
Right.
things in different line items.
yeah.
Yeah, it's actually dividing it up so that you get a more defined per department.
Yeah.
Consulting fees, $5,000. Building repairs and maintenance, we have gone down to $5,000 to keep it on a lower budget, and that's just fixing lights, that kind of stuff. Outdoor repairs and maintenance, we put at $5,000 as well. Fresh coat of paint on some things and make it a little bit more presentable. Equipment repairs and maintenance. We budgeted for $20,000. That's due to lack of previous maintenance.
So this is oil changes,
Tires. Tires and oil changes and all the tiny pieces that are starting to let go. Try and get it back up to a working standard. Insurance, $8,911. Common general supplies, goods and service has been increased to $10,000. This being percentage, but in most cases, there's been an increase of over 50% on the cost of supplies. Fuel, you'll notice a drastic change on that of 45,500. I went basically off of diesel itself, which is almost a 243% increase since last year.
I know historically this, like the fuel number has like fluctuated, the actual, like the, not the budget numbers, but the actuals have fluctuated fairly wildly. Do we feel like we have a good handle on it? Again, as the price of fuel gets more and more and more expensive, it becomes more and more of a potential for fluctuation. Like I said, I know there's been some years where it's like 15,000. I know some years it's been up to 40.
Yeah.
Like I said, just now it's getting more expensive. Like, are we basing that off of the dollar value, off of the usage?
Going off of a dollar value right now.
Okay. And I guess it's hard to know how many hours of
Yeah, you're not
runs or
you
whatever.
can never guarantee how long a machine's gonna run. You're not gonna guarantee, when the storms are gonna hit, when snow's gonna hit.
Absolutely, no, and I just figured I'd point out, there actually has been a lot of back and forth on that number where and when something's like, 4 times as much one year as the next year, right? So I guess as long as we're making sure we've truly considered that, given the way the price of fuel is going, I guess is my only suggestion, right?
So, I'm looking into a different, fuel resource. Something that, can be contained on our own, get a bulk.
Yeah, and storing it on our own, so
Storing
we
it on
can
our own, so that we can.
buy when it's low, and awesome.
Exactly. Small equipment purchases, $5,000. Again, a lot of things are starting to get outdated, so either the repairs on them or replacement. And as for small equipment, that's like our trash pumps, weed whackers, all that stuff. Of course, utilities, power and gas. Drastic increase on those due to the carbon tax. 4,000 for power, 10,000 for gas. Water and sewage, 16,000. Common fleet reserve, it's $5,000. What is that? So fleet reserve is for us to start putting money aside so that we can update the fleet.
Yeah. So and just because we talked about this on Sunday about the amortization, so I've done a little bit of homework, and I talked to Kalmar, and what she said is, yeah, it does say in there, but your transfers to reserves can act, because what they want is they want to show that you're saving.
Yes, they want to show that your amortization matches your capital investment.
Well, so that you can replace your capital. So she said if you just have transfers to reserves on your budget, you don't have to budget for amortization as per se. And you actually, according to the MJ, only have to budget for the amortization on your utility.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure, I figured it was the other day in case, right?
Yeah, because I couldn't make sense, and then when I phoned her, and she's like, well, they want it, and I'm like, okay, but we have these and she's like, yeah, no, as long as you have that, just write transfer
Yes, then
cover.
it's showing that you're
Yeah.
adequately accounting for down the road.
Yeah.
So, okay.
So yeah, so we were covered because I was freaking out that day.
Mine would have freaked me out.
I'm like, I can't add 700,000 to this budget.
Contingency repairs, 25,000. I guess that's for what we put into.
Okay.
Just in
As
case.
a contingency.
Yeah.
Is that going into a reserve, or is that, because it's listed kind of with the other reserve accounts, is that going to the public works reserve, or is that just discretionary?
The discretionary, yeah, just in case things go a little sideways.
All right, into transportation, federal gas tax, 60,885. MSI capital grant, $138,024.
Yeah, and then just, those are the actual, that we are going to get this year. Yeah, but it's way lower than before.
Transportation outdoor contract services increased to 25,000. Again, with the cost of fuel and stuff like that, contractors are charging more. Outdoor repairs and maintenance, $6,000. There's not really too much that we have that's outdoors for transportation. Repairs and maintenance, so we can lower that. Sidewalk, curb, spot repairs. We had the gentleman there a little while ago, give us a rough estimate that he figured $10,000 or less to finish off the rest of town. So I put that at $15,000 estimate for any possible other little repairs to do, lifting a sidewalk or whatever. Equipment, transportation equipment repairs and maintenance, $12,000. Try and do as much as we can for ourselves, try and keep that cost down. I know that even an oil change on a vehicle nowadays is, you're looking at almost $200, $300 for an oil change. Gravel, cold mix, and dirt, $35,000. Cost of manufacturing this stuff has increased, and the cost of transporting it has increased as well. Vehicle and equipment parts and supplies, $10,000. Basic repairs on the trucks. Snow removal and sanding. This is a big one. $12,000. I'm looking at hopefully being able to lower that price. I've been testing a few things this year with changing, instead of using straight sand and salt mix on the roads. I actually want to try and move to a little bit bigger of a grade of sand rock mix. Better traction, easier to clean up, and the cost of it will decrease.
So Andrew, what is that equipment lease or rental from last year that is nothing for this year?
So equipment lease or rental would be like when we rent the man lift. We don't lease any vehicles at this point in time, but I've purchased a man basket that goes onto our loader. It was $1,000 for the man basket, whereas our man lift that we get from the rental house was $800 a shop. It paid for itself the first rental pretty much. CPR crossing maintenance, $25. We're still trying to figure out what that is, but we kept it in there.
CP charges us $25 a year.
Is that what it is? Okay.
We get a year's $25 bill, and it's a weird arbitrary bill that we just always got.
Yeah, because I said to you, I said, I have no idea, but it's been in there
4 years ago, I
forever.
remember questioning them, what is this weird CP bill? And it's that arbitrarily somewhere along the way, there's some weird agreement with CP where they bill us $25 a year.
And that's $25 to come out every once in a while and interrupt traffic on the road.
But yeah, it's always been there, and we couldn't make sense of it necessarily before, but then somewhere along the way, someone signed something saying that they bill us $25 a year.
I like that.
For $25, it was only worth arguing about so much, but yeah, it's always been.
Transportation utilities power, $93,462. Do you recall what that one was?
The power?
Yeah, the transportation
I
utilities.
don't know. I'm gonna have Jesse, because now that we've identified which bills are for which properties, I'm gonna have Jesse go through and basically analyzed them for the last year for usage. And then Donna has secured us a rate, so we know what our rate is gonna be, so I can better, like budget for this
Fine
number.
tune these numbers.
Yeah, yeah.
With actuals, yeah.
Yeah, and then also the, like the debenture principal and interest. Yesterday, when we were going through these, I added up all the interest in the budget, and then I compared it to the financial statements from 2020, because those are the and it seemed really high. So I'm hoping that these numbers are high, and I can bring them
Yeah, there could be
down
some
once I
point
find-
double added somewhere.
yeah, or once I find the actual debenture agreements, because we haven't been able to locate. Donna's asked for them from,
They're calling state treasury.
yeah.
Yeah,
So-
either way, a lot of these numbers can get
They could-
fine tuned.
Yeah, and let's hope they're going in the right direction.
They're running scenarios too on all our loans.
Yeah.
So we'll have those for you before the final, when you're debating, yeah. Should have the debenture agreements next week. They're all working from home, so you
Yeah.
can give them to us.
Well, like we had talked about before, I mean, yeah, trying to look at the rates and the amortizations and everything, I think that's something that I still think should be a reasonably high priority, because, yeah, there's
Yeah,
definitely
no,
room
it
to
is
adjust some of that, I think.
Yeah, no, it's coming. They're running everything.
All right, supply of water.
Andrew,
Yes.
sorry, that transfer to roads and sidewalks, that's just another savings for future.
Yeah, yes, transfer to reserve.
Okay.
Yeah.
Water, sale of water, 442,800. Bulk sales, 16,333. Utility penalties, 13,200.
What's the penalty for?
When you don't pay your bill.
This is revenue.
This is revenue.
This is revenue, yeah.
So
when
sale of
people-
water would be our water.
When people don't pay their bills.
I don't know if you guys have had a chance to actually like look into it, like, has that number been going up, but like, have we been getting a lot more water
I
bills?
think I looked it up yesterday. I looked up so many numbers.
Yeah.
I think I did look it up.
Yeah, I can't remember.
But I will double check it, like, but yeah, like.
I mean, it's not necessarily a budget issue so much as
Yeah.
a town well-being
and
question,
now,
I guess.
yeah.
Are we finding that people are struggling, right? The first thing I think that's gonna slip is your town utility bill,
Yeah.
so I guess it's a good metric for
We
how
have
is the inflation, the increased utility costs and stuff actually affecting
the
people, I guess, is
ability to
my
pay.
question, yeah.
Well, we're working on that right now. So, yeah, we pulled that, we just were talking about it actually before council tonight. And we've been sending out the placards, and most people will come in, like last time we had good success, the last time we did it. So we're just on it again. And
Sure, but I guess we're sending out more placards than normal, I guess. is
Yeah,
kind of my
we are.
question, yeah. I mean, like I say, I know cost of living is getting stupid for people, so I mean, it's just a good metric for, are people struggling or not, I guess, is my question, and that seems like a very easy way for us to know, have some sort of internal metric for how are people doing with all these cost increases?
Well, the power and gas alone
Well, and then,
doubled and.
yeah, their gasoline, their diesel, their
And then, yeah.
utilities, yeah, things are getting expensive, going to the grocery store is getting weird at this point, so.
Yeah, everything.
Mr. Mayor, we can certainly have Lisa, our mini clerk, answer some of those questions too for you, Councillor Corey. Go ahead.
Like I say, it's not directly budget related, but if you guys get to it, I mean, it's just, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, Lisa,
So-
you know.
It's gone up by probably about 25%.
yeah.
Yeah, the door knockers. It used to be the same people over and over.
But yeah, we're finding more and new.
Like, so in November of last year, I'd have maybe 7 or 8.
Mhm.
This last time, I think we had 17.
There's also been I've noticed a lot of places where people aren't home, or just, they're not there for lengths of time.
Okay,
So whether that's, they're looking for work outside of town and are gone for weeks on end, or, has the ability to leave the house and just up and left.
Yeah.
I do think some people have up and left.
yeah.
We have some estate issues to settle as well.
Could I maybe just, if I were to move to provide direction to administration, we could maybe like do like a quarterly or something, like a semi-frequent reoccurring, information back to council kind of along these lines. Like I say, I feel like it's a good internal kind of
Oh, for sure.
I do it every month.
check. So yeah, and if we could provide something to council so we can kind of make sure we keep it in the back of our mind as a
We can provide that
pulse on how
monthly.
things are going.
Yeah, we can do that monthly along with variance report.
Okay.
Okay, so that's all in favor of that?
All right. Infrastructure Rehabilitation Fund, 82,578.
Yeah, and if I just like that budget number from before, like the 140, it includes the sewer one that you'll find in the next section, so that's why that number's so high.
Water connection fees, meter labor charge out, $700. That's, the charge for, if, somebody requests a new meter or, their services are shut off and have to be reinstated.
Just as on a question here, how old are our meters?
Well, so that's coming further down the.
Was it? Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah, we haven't got to the expense part of that.
Okay.
So, Councilmember Gilbert, I'm not sure if you could shed some light on this with in regards to Petrus Energy sales.
Yeah, they have their bulk fill, their raw water bulk fill there, and they were using it for fracking. And then when oil prices dropped, they more or less stopped talking to us. Their agreement had expired. We had tried, CEO Burke had tried for must have been 18 months to try to get some sort of response. Can we renew this agreement? At what rates? Like, what would you be comfortable with? We never could even get a response from them. So eventually we left it with, well, there is no agreement. Let us know if you would like one. In the meantime, it's whatever the rate of water is. Come talk to us if you want to talk to us. And I don't think we ever did hear back.
Okay, so that's that little pump house. that's
Yeah, over by the, yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
So yeah, like I say, they were buying water in they had a separate kind of special bulk raw water price.
okay.
It was under like a contract that, like I say, it expired. They never came back to the table to
Are they even,
discuss renewing it.
Yeah.
are they even Petrus anymore? They
Yeah.
changed their names so many times.
They are still running under the name of Petrus.
Okay. Is that Alan Cujo?
I don't know offhand.
Again, now that, again, oil prices and stuff are up again, maybe they're interested again, like I say, for the last couple of years, and I know we can get a response, let alone an actual discussion.
I have a contact at Petrus, so
Okay.
I will get in contact with them, because I know that pump house has to flow so much water per year in order to keep their,
Yeah, keep everything,
well, their license for it
got you.
active.
I think I'd like to, maybe get a motion from somebody and we pursue that with them again, like, if it's now, who's on them guys? I know those was quite a bit, approachable to maybe talking to us.
Well, again, I mean, whether it's Petrus or anyone else,
Yeah, whoever it
if somebody's interested, and I think the town's take on it always was, and I think my take on it would be, whether it's Petrus or someone else, if they want to guarantee a minimum water rate, they want to buy a certain volume, if they get a bit of a deal, but on an expectation that they're buying a minimum volume, then of course they can have a bit of a price break. If they're saying, well, we don't really buy water in bulk, and if every now and again it might come up, well, then you're no different than anyone else.
Mr. Mayor, we don't need a motion for it, we can just use it as
Yeah.
a regular course of business.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's do that.
Like I say, if somebody's interested, great, but
I think it'd be
yeah.
worthwhile, I mean, sorry.
again, as the prices are going up, right, we might find some interest for some more fracking fluid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let it be written, so let it be done, sir. Of course. What have you been watching? 10 Commandments, it's getting easier.
Okay, level 1 training for the water treatment plant. Just to have a better understanding of what we're supplying the town with and how all that works. Underwater telephone, $3,000. That's for their landline and security system over there, I do believe. Consulting fees, $173,375. That's for our contractor D&J. Building repairs and maintenance, $55,000. Did we fit that? That was,
I think that means that was like filters and,
yeah, so that's,
or is that where the meters are?
It's your filters for your
yeah, that's,
treatment.
yeah, so that's our filters for our treatment
Oh, no,
plant.
meter parts and repairs, that's what
Outdoor repairs and maintenance, $31,000. That's, that'll fit, the general parts like, CC, the CC parts and fire hydrant parts, just to keep stock of that stuff and be able to change it out as necessary.
Does that include any of, like, I know we've talked about before, down at the lift station, it's kind of a, or not the lift station, the river intake there, it's kind of a bit of a mess down there. Like, is there anywhere here, is any of that kind of
Yeah, so
tidying up, so to speak, and counted
yeah, a
for?
lot of that stuff, isn't gonna be a heavy cost, so it'll just be man hours or more or less.
Yeah.
We have all the supplies on hand, for the most part, to be able to take care of that.
Sounds good.
Water line lease charges, $6,000.
we can't figure out what this is either.
Yeah,
Is that out your two, the intake station at Beaufort, the lease for the?
It possibly could be,
Is
that's
that
what
what
it is? Okay. Yeah, because I tried to find it.
I believe there was somewhere along the way, there was a lease that's expired, that was some sort of a point of contention. I don't know if that's ever been resolved, and I don't know if
That's the Citgo one at Beaufort.
Okay, we'll look.
There's two, there's Rod McLean, I know that one, that's right at the intake.
I think that's the one that's, or the lease agreement's expired, and I don't know, something, I don't know if it ever.
I believe I've seen
resolved.
the notes on it, Rod McLean has been, his is good.
Okay,
And then when it goes to Beaufort, there's a little station there along the railroad track, that's Citgo,
Okay,
and I don't believe that one's been resolved yet.
okay.
okay, so there's actually two at the river intake.
Yeah.
Our road crosses two properties. We have, two that we have a lease agreement with.
Okay. So we can
and
look it up with the
maybe,
agreement.
I know there was
Yeah.
something there that needed to be renewed, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it ever has been, just with, the transition and stuff, so I
We're
don't,
going through agreement
Yeah.
right now, so.
Yeah.
it's going to be something to look into, so I don't know if that, again, if there's an agreement to be renewed, if it's included in here or not, I guess, is my only real
Quite
concern
sure
at this point.
We'll flag it.
Well, we left the money in there because I said I'd rather have it in there and have to take it out than not have it in and have to put it in, so, yeah.
Okay, insurance, $37,800. Water meter parts and repairs, $18,500. Now, this is the part that you were bringing up. We have water meters that are 25 plus years old in a lot of cases, which probably have never been tested. The last meter that we did test came back at the 7.6% in favor of the resident. So the meter will never overread.
They could be chronically underread.
They could be chronically underread.
Losing revenue.
Based on the circumstance, right? So, So if it's just a regular meter, in most cases, 25+ years old, they're probably getting a benefit.
So we have, I mean, you're not probably gonna replace them all at once, but
Oh,
you need to have.
I agree.
Yeah, so, I looked at it, based off of the amount of meters that we have in town here. There are a few that have been upgraded already, mostly the new builds that have happened over the last couple of years. So I'm averaging about 64 meters replacement a year over a 5-year, period. And I went based off of the largest meter, which is $288.75 a meter. So this cost here will allow me to purchase a few spares to keep off to the side in case anything does happen, and upgrade over the next 5 years all the time.
And like after they come up with like a strategy for going in and doing areas, or just gonna do mountain as needed basis, or whatever?
I'm gonna go, the way I'm gonna go is oldest to newest.
How do we know, like, is that all on everybody's roll? Like, how do you know that?
It should be. So I have to go through all that and find out if that information has been entered. So any meters that have been changed since I've joined on to Public Works, the paperwork has been given to the municipal clerk with the date that the meter has been replaced. So all that stuff has been logged.
It's not that long.
I know.
Maybe years.
Yeah, but it's just gonna be a lot of research, trying to go back and find all the little flip notepads that are in my office.
Who was the Public Works prior to you?
Wayne McClellan. McLean, yeah,
And prior to him?
I'm not sure who was prior to him.
Yeah.
Bill, it was
Was
Bill,
Bill?
it was Bill.
Oh,
And I think the twins were in there at one time too, I can't remember.
Before that was,
Ago.
before Bill, yeah.
Yeah, so that'll allow us to change out roughly 64 meters over the next, per year, over the next 5 years, and will get us into a actual maintenance period. I still have to look into other meters that are available, possibly a better communication system where we're not driving around town to do the meter reads on them either. It can actually be all pulled up at the office here for the.
Yeah. Interesting.
A lot of small municipalities, that's what they do, is drive around. There's even municipalities that are still walking door to door. So try and get us into the new age, hopefully. General goods and service, 16,000. Do you recall what that was?
give me numbers.
Well, that's the GST probably on your chemicals, everything that stuff's there.
Yes.
Goods and services.
Well, chemicals is itemized separately here.
Oh, yeah, this is.
Yeah.
So that's just, probably just separated GST of it.
No, I think that's actual items, goods and service.
There's a lot of testing equipment and stuff I know as well.
Yep.
So I'm assuming a lot of that's in there, but
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you got a lot of these numbers from DMJ, so it's, yeah, but yeah. I know there's not an insignificant cost maybe just for the testing equipment, nothing else.
Yeah. And
I'm
then
sure other miscellaneous.
always a new test follow every week for.
Yeah, when we looked back on, like I looked at QuickBooks for this past year too.
Yeah.
We went through the account to see what was in there.
Yeah.
And tried to.
Match it up to actual, so.
Let's grab a chair, keep moving to the chair over here. if you want. Okay.
We can bring it over there.
Like, sit, so everybody.
We're just going through our budget and then we'll talk about you after that. That's okay? Yeah.
Compliance testing, $8,000. That's, I believe that's, the weekly testing that's done on the water. Pump house general goods and service, $13,000. Staying pretty consistent with that, with, previous years. Chemicals, $20,000. That's like our, inside the trains to get filtered. Utilities, power and gas. Power is $97,913. Gas, $5,530. Debentures, $39,872. Debentures principal, $112,555.
Do we know where we're at on that, Cindy? Because I had thought originally when it was built,
Well, that's
we were
what
coming to the end of
That's
that.
what I was saying earlier, like I have to find the debenture agreements because I can't find them, so. But according to when I add up all the numbers from all the different budgets for debentures and compare it to the financial statements, this is higher. So I'm thinking that this will go down, but I wanted to leave the higher number in there for now in case.
And we can finally have our actual budget final meeting.
Yeah, I'll have all the right numbers. And Donna's just waiting to get the agreements because I can't find them on the server anywhere.
They're not.
So,
Treasury Spring has sending it.
yeah,
Contingency fund, $16,000. Transfer to infrastructure rehabilitation fund, $82,578.
yeah, and that number is just what we collect with that.
All right, sewer service fees, $103,800. Infrastructure rehabilitation, $55,500. That's our revenues. Expenses, building repairs and maintenance, $4,224. That'll be the pump, the lift station. Maintenance on that, getting it cleaned up so it looks a little bit better on the outside as well. Outdoor repairs and maintenance, $32,967. That's looking into repairs on the sewer line on the exterior town. Insurance, $2,575. General supplies, goods and service, $2,060. Compliance testing, $6,078. Parts and supplies, $15,000. That's that price or that cost there is based off of pump replacement or repair.
But one pump.
Sewer lagoon chemical treatment is $5,000. You'll notice the price on that's going up again. Supply.
Well, and even just looking at the actuals from last year,
Yeah.
I think it was about 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Utilities, power, $22,231. Gas, $3,365. Transfer to infrastructure rehab reserve, $55,500. Debenture interest, $13,998. Debenture principal, $49,700. I guess this will fit in all the same, the rest of that paperwork. Then we go into garbage, waste disposal fees, So revenues, $87,234. Recycling waste disposal fees, $19,329. Garbage collection and disposal, so this is under the expense, is $40,300 for garbage. Landfill charges, $2,000. County dump cards are $10,000. Recycling program is $24,300. That is it for my long list of winded list.
All right, well, thank you. Once again, I'd like to say, tell everybody that just for information, and we'll get down to the nitty gritty when we do it on the 24th. And, thank you, Cindy, for your work on that, and Donna, separate, and Andrew.
Thank you.
So much. All right, so, next, feedback door and company there, whoever wants to come up to the front here, we will wait you.
As well. They are also part of the event as well.
Okay, all right. Well, thanks for coming, Deepak.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. The time and everything. We talked last time as well about the event. It's a motorcycle event. The date hasn't been finalized yet, but the group expecting about 1,000 motorcycles coming in town. And it will be jointly organized by Lawn Motor Mechanical and Thorsby Hotel. But doing such kind of event, just us, it won't be possible. There's a lot of requirement to be done by help of town and police department as well. But we chatted before as well, like this, each biker group have their own identity and own way of doing things. I had a meeting with the president of that particular biker group, and I mentioned about this is not going to be any particular specific biker group event. It will be generic event where all bikers or all family can come together. There will be absolutely no any specific batches or any kind of identity will be published. There will be no any kind of flags or any kind of banners going to be published or allowed to put in. And the label or title of the event would be just motorcycle event or any other title, which could be suggested by town. We are okay with that as well. Me running a business in town, I don't want to put myself in that situation that I'm bringing something in town where town is not comfortable with. So if town is not comfortable with this kind of event, I'm absolutely okay not to organize that event. It just, I thought, when I had a meeting with them, I felt like they really want to do this. And I know whenever we talked about biker event, everybody label a lot of things. And there's exaggeration in there as well. There's a lot of ideas as well. But they want to come up with that event where to prove everybody wrong kind of thing. And I'm sure they knocked a lot of other towns and a lot of different bars and everything. Some people entertained, some people didn't have enough capacity. I thought maybe Thorsby would be a spot where we can make this happen. And then that would be memorable for the town as well and for the whole community, and it will bring more business. But that being said, the other side of the story is, if you guys are not comfortable, and I'm not really 100% gonna take full guarantee on whatever they're committing, would be they're gonna follow and everything as well. I really want, if they're committing, I'd rather bring them in front of you guys, the president.
So this is a 3-day event.
It will be a 3-day, Friday, Saturday.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Which is different than guys just coming into town and then, like.
Yeah, it's not a Pocorano or anything like that.
No, it's nothing like that.
This will be just one stop. They're not going anywhere else. They will be starting somewhere around noon or 1 o'clock till liquor license is open, till 10, 11 in the evening. There will be live music and a couple of satellite bars will be putting in on the street, and a couple of food vendors.
Yeah. Just one, when I talked to you there, like you suggested, you know, the first thing, obviously, these permits for the alcohol and stuff like that. I don't know, Donna, did you look into what we had for permits for the town? Respect to alcohol? Well, no, as far as like, gatherings over like 100 people, we have a bylaw, we need a bylaw. From my preliminary research, we'll probably need a bylaw. Right. And we'll need to know more from the organizers, Mr. Mayor, as to what's going to happen, what they want before we can make a determination, because I'm making a list here of parking, camping, policing, emergency operations center, all those kinds of things you have to consider.
Oh, and I agree, there's a lot of logistical concerns, like you were just mentioning, parking again, a 3-day event with 1,000 bikes, well, there's not adequate accommodations in town, right? So again, there's a lot of logistical sort of things that I agree that we would need to cross our T's and dot our I's and make sure there's a coherent plan. But the other thing is, I mean, we're talking about budget, right? The town's broke, that's not really a secret, we don't have a lot of money. So I know, for example, the policing costs, right? The police are going to give us a bill. Well, how is that bill being funded, right? I mean, the town trying to accommodate with logistics is one thing. How are we making sure the costs are covered is, I guess, the other side of that as well, right? I mean, logistics sometimes have a dollar sign attached to it.
If I can add to that, like when I talked to you, like you said, you know, we should talk to the police because they're the ones that are gonna have to sign off on the liquor permit as well as the fire department. So I did go over and talk to Sergeant Moore over there, right? And he indicated that he thought they would probably, well, not probably, he says they would have to have some policing. He says that, I know under the Alberta Healthcare Health and Liquor Board and all that, you know, they had one supervisor for 50 people. So if you had 1,000 people, you need 20 people. Is that not right?
No,
So-
we're not 500,000.
No.
It was more like, we do like 500.
How much?
500.
Well, 500 people. Okay.
And
well,
can I just
you got
Yeah.
Can I just add one thing too?
Yeah, you sure can.
It's also meant to be a fundraiser, and we haven't picked where we'd like to, what group would you like to donate money to? But,
It's mainly a charity.
yeah. it's
Yeah.
a charity.
Charity fundraiser for
Okay.
the town is what we're trying to establish.
Okay.
It's towards our car show. It's another function that we want to build towards, of course, the annual car show that we have every year.
Great, which has been great, yeah.
Yes, and we're on making it bigger every year.
So I just, like I said, I did talk to them over there and they said that they would more than likely have to provide some policing, right? And they said it's $1,500 per officer.
For 3 days,
That's what he told me.
for 3 days,
That's what it is.
or per day.
Per one officer.
Per
For the-
shift.
for the
Per
3
shift.
Right. So if they had 10 officers for 3 days, $30,000.
Correct.
And that money has to be paid by the municipality. Now, we pay it and we would have to get it back from your group or whatever, right?
So, first of all, the licensing, or getting a liquor license, or organizing such kind of event, we do need an event license. To get an event license, when they mention about one supervisor per 50 people, having us on his police department is not a recommendation. Okay, the supervisor can be anybody. Supervisor can be a volunteer who can look after, make sure that area is okay and nobody's bootlegging any liquor, nobody's actually over drinking. Each employee who will be handling liquor will have their own license as well, making sure alcohol has been handled properly. Police department would ideally require, regardless of any gathering or in that matter, but definitely not like 1 per 50 people. We have done events previously in this town as well, where we had a Right for That. We organized a couple of years. I think Corey knows about how we handle. I have zero idea about it in terms of policing, how we did it there, or did that cost anything to us?
No, they didn't bring any additional policing.
Right. Yeah. So, we are expecting similar kind of event. We are not, and that's why I had twice, mentioned that, and very strongly I mentioned that this is not gonna be, any group event. As a business owner, I don't wanna recognize my bar belongs to that group.
No, and I'm looking at the residents of Thorsby too, like,
And
I'm
that's
all favor for anything for Thorsby, but like I say, we have to look at all the details of this here.
absolutely.
And there's quite a bit to it.
There is absolutely, it will be, I cannot even imagine that 500, sure, Sabrina mentions 500, but like, sometimes for those kind of events, we eventually will lose our control, the amount of people will come, if we're gonna advertise in that manner. 500 can become 700, 700 become 900, and that time to control staff or control people coming in, it will be difficult, because we will be planning for 1,000 in that time. So we'll have all the resources and everything to cater them, but we won't be able to stop after 500. Then it's gonna create more issues for down the road in the Duke Road or highways and all of those that we're making bikers back and taking U-turn and all those stuff. So we have to accept in those kind of situations. So doing those kind of events, I don't think Thorsby Hotel would be capable enough to do it by themselves, or even Lawn Wolf and Thorsby Hotel. I don't think we even carry that much traffic. So that's why when I see it, Thorsby logo or Thorsby, town of Thorsby is organizing this event, and Thorsby Hotel is being a partner with that kind of. And of course, getting acknowledgement from you and getting acknowledgement from police department. And if we have to have a separate meeting where police, one representative from police and one from town and one from the.
I think you need a plan.
And
You have to have.
if that also, even that meeting, we can't even finalize anything, or we have to cancel in that meeting, it is what it is. But at least we tried, at least we actually created some sort of event planning. And if it's not good for town of Thorsby or residents of Thorsby, I'm not gonna be happy to do that either. So.
And if you have a date, I know you said sometime in July, you don't have an actual date.
Very flexible. I did say, like, the planning of the event is not a problem. I said, until and unless we don't get approval from the town, they're not gonna talk about dates. But they're okay to go either in July or August. We do have car show and an arm wrestling event as well, so we gotta see which date's gonna be flexible. But they'll be fine with the dates and everything. But I didn't even discuss anything about events or event planning until unless we even are we comfortable with them.
Okay, so we were just looking for information, and we can't make the vote at this meeting.
I understand.
This is the council as a whole. So really, we're looking for information and. Go ahead, Shelley.
Deepak, I just have questions.
Yes.
So you said a 3-day event, so are we looking like a mini Sturgis event? Are you selling tickets? Like, anybody can come, like, will we have any idea whatsoever how many numbers, like, what the numbers are gonna look like? Where are these people gonna stay? Like,
So staying, yes, of course, we're gonna thought of planning or booking ahead the campground. Of course, there will be a couple of ties with the surrounding hotels like Sunnybrook and the Duke hotels and everything. We were thinking about arranging some sort of bus for them, so the commute can be easy. And the Lawn Wolf offered them a spot where they can park their bikes as well, right in front of the bus. Lawn Wolf mechanical, so who's down there. And again, a couple of ideas expecting from you guys as well, where if those kind of event happens, then how we can accommodate this with the parking lots. If there's a bike, we have the park, we can use the senior center, the hall area or anywhere else, the way we did the Right for That event. But those events again, like, doesn't matter how much we're gonna plan, there will be a situation where we have to block streets and then people end up parking on the street. And that would be a lot more convenient. Now they are right next to the event and they still can see the motorcycle. That's exactly what we did in Right for That as well. Like, the whole street was was blocked off.
When you guys did your car show across the street there, and then by the FISO across from, butcher shop, you guys used all that? So you just know.
The vendors were there.
There was a vending,
Yeah.
farmers.
The vendors were at the beginning, and then down by Lone Wolf was where the car show and stuff.
Oh, like, so you didn't use the other part, okay, yes.
We took care of the other end, like, Boswell then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but there will be the challenges in terms of parking, as Corey mentioned about the accommodation. But those things, as I said, that would be in a planning process, and by all means, we're gonna provide them, this is what we have. And there's always n numbers of possibility of arranging a whole bus for them, and then we can put them in Leduc or in Breton or somebody, I don't know.
Okay, well, we'll do some more research on our part on, as far as, go ahead, Gio, Don.
I just, sorry, I just have a question. Excuse me, I have Councilor Rash's cough here. When you indicated that you've been speaking with a group of cyclists, are you opening it up to, if I have a Honda Goldwing with the kids, I could come out, or is it strictly a group where you're not allowing them to wear colors, badges, et cetera? Is it like a,
It's gonna be family oriented.
so anybody, if I have a bike in Leduc and I want to come out?
Absolutely.
Okay, so it's not dedicated to any kind of.
No.
We can even call it an outdoor event for anybody like that.
Okay.
Sorry, Donna, but, so ideally what you guys are looking to do is almost a 3-day show and shine with bikes.
Kind
Where
of,
it's
more,
not select, general, or like specific, it's anyone who has a bike is more welcome to come show up.
The show and shine part we only plan for Saturday.
yes, basically it's Friday night,
Everyone rolls in, gets
kind
ready
of
for
rules in,
Saturday.
if they choose to. Saturday, all day event, Sunday morning, have a pancake breakfast. Got it.
So it'll be like, live music and everything, when people will come. It's pretty much like having an outdoor event and everybody gathers. Drinking and everything will be allowed.
Kind of like our car show.
Are the bikes gonna be, is it gonna be a registered, like show and shine, like people are gonna have to come, sign in, sign up?
So there will be
Show
no.
off, or is it gonna be just, park on the street, people will walk by and see type of thing?
Is definitely not, we haven't thought on in terms of like whether we're gonna specifically organize as a show and shine where people have to come and see the motorcycle. This will be a gathering event for motorcycles, or regardless of anybody who can come in, where they'll be able to have live music to see, there'll be bar outside and the food tents and everything.
So is that the plan, Deepak, is basically Friday night, come, party, live music, Saturday, party, live music, Sunday, everybody go home?
Exactly, I mean, like, if you wanna have fun, you don't really need a lot of reasons, right? It's almost like a spirit of Thorsby we did. We didn't do anything specific, where you have to buy tickets or anything. There will be no tickets, there will be no, people have to come for, there will be a different bands every day for 3 days. And the same thing in spirit of Thorsby, we did the same thing. We did the black band, we had a food tents, people came, gathered, and they actually loved it. And they said, why Thorsby doesn't do that every week? And actually, when we describe this, it sounds very simple, but when you actually experience it, you feel like, wow, this is nice. We have so much space, open space, and why don't we utilize it? And I agree in 100% that we should have even not 1,000 people capacity, but at least 100, 200 people gathering event, at least once in a month in 5 months of summer, I think. And that would generate a lot. That would definitely get Thorsby down rocking.
So, but what we want to specify basically is, like, Lone Wolf is gonna open the doors.
Yep.
We're gonna have the bikes in there, the show bikes, whatever who wants to bring their bike, show them off. And basically, people are just gonna walk up and down, just like we do the car show. Is what our general plan is, basically open it up to the public, so that the kids, the families, we have vendors coming, that's the plan, okay? We just wanna kind of open it up, so that the public gets to see nice bikes up close, is what our plan is. Again, building towards the car show.
We also talked about maybe charging $10 if wanted to enter a bike, so then we could raise some funds that way also. Was one thing we also
Basically, it's a
wanted.
charity kind of thing. We really want to bring more money into this town. We want to get Thorsby on the map.
See, when I, today's meeting, I was not really, expecting to, share any details in terms of how we're gonna plan the event. That would be a secondary, I still think. I feel like, are we actually going to plan this event? That's one. And that's why, like, because we mentioned in last, meeting as well, what are those bikers are, what group they carry. And my biggest concern is, I'm not really, too worried about how we're gonna plan. It's gonna be very simple and straightforward. We have done this in the past. It's not gonna be, and there's n numbers of possibility how we're gonna do this. But I'm always stuck there. Are we actually going to do this? Until unless we don't see that clear, we should not even think about how we're gonna plan, because we are not sure how we actually doing it. And that's why my concern is we have to come on same page, including police, town of Thorsby, Long Wolf and Thorsby Hotel, that yes, we can do this. Then we should have another meeting, how we're gonna do this. So then I think, then we absolutely, we can share all these ideas of how we're gonna do it. But yeah, so good.
So you're suggesting we have another meeting now with like, let's say Donna, the police,
The biker organization.
the organization, and you guys, and then
If
discuss if it's like, if it's feasible, and we can do it. And then
Absolutely, if it is necessary. And that's why, like, in the beginning, before me putting you all guys on spot, I did talk to Dow before, like, hey, this is what, and I mentioned all those internal information that, hey, discuss this within your team and see we should even do the meeting. Or just simply text me, no, it's not gonna happen. And then we're okay with that. Down the road, like, you guys discuss, this is the biker group is, and this is what Deepak is saying, and this is what that biker group is claiming. Do we really have to bring all those people in front of one representative of police department as well? And then now, each person is not talking behind anybody's back. Everybody's actually straightforward, and everybody's signing on those documents. You are the responsible from your biker group. You are responsible from running a Thorsby hotel and making sure you're doing this. And we are responsible. We will be advertised this much, and this is what we're going to do. And COP is comfortable doing that whole event. So we are not getting any hiccups and everything down the road.
Yeah.
There's n numbers of challenges down the road. I see it. Of course, I have to reach out to AGLC. Of course, I have to reach out to Alberta Health. Catering about over 200 people is always,
Porta potties.
even though those are also manageable, but like my biggest concern is, if somebody is not agree with this whole event, sometimes there will be a health concern. People say, I ate here and I got sick. I was like, okay, then it comes back to who approves this. Okay, and then, bigger event also have those situations where somebody got sick eating something, but at least we had our foundation very clean and clear that nobody's blaming anybody, before even we start and organizing.
Well, we got a lot more information already now. So
And if that, and then, yes, I'm okay to come in, and be in front of.
I'd like to sit down and talk to you guys a little bit more, and, if the rest of the council is okay, like, for, just, and bring some more stuff back to us to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're not making a decision today.
Yeah.
I know you need it fairly soon, because the sooner the better. But, I'd like to know how you did the show and shine, what complicates this thing, the only thing in my mind that complicates it is 3 days. Like, if it was 1 day, I think it'd be a slam dunk, it'd be no problem.
Because, well, in my mind, I was thinking, you guys do the show and shine with the cars, why can't you do a motorcycle show and shine? But maybe look at, like, even realistically, the Friday night, you could still host an open air concert. The Saturday, do the show and shine. The Sunday, do the pancake breakfast. But the biggest thing is going to be where people are gonna stay. How's that gonna happen? That would be, I see, then, it's your event, which we're not really involved with the car show and shine, are we? Yeah, so I don't know, there's just so much to think about, right?
Andrew, you gotta say,
Sorry, do you have a rough idea of, what part the town, responsibility would be?
See, I see like this whole event should be organized by town. And then being part of, Thorsby Hotel and Ron Wolf.
see, I don't think that's an option,
Yeah.
Or at least.
The liability would be.
Put your blessing on it, but we don't have to organize it.
Yeah,
And even we can organize that, that's not a problem, as long as, you know, if town of Thorsby is gonna be involved, because getting a confirmation, I know, the cop and everything, they need some sort of acknowledgement from town of Thorsby. I know how the procedure works in terms of even getting a liquor license for over 200 people. They will say, okay, your capacity is 200, you're organizing 1,000 people event. So you're absolutely using some public space. But then, of course, it's gonna come back to you. And that's why I don't wanna do absolutely nothing without bringing you on.
I understand, yeah, so, go ahead, Tori.
Well, I guess my thought is, no, I agree with what Judge said, there's no rational or reasonable way that the town should or could at the present time be involved in the organizing. So I guess my thought on it would be, I'm not opposed or in favor of it, because I guess from my perspective of what council need to do is, if there's a coherent plan for here's the event, here's the details, right? Like there's all these details.
Yeah.
If you were to come and say, here's the event, here's how we planned it, here's what we're doing, here's what we need the town to sign off on, we need this road closed, we need this allocated for parking, then the town can say, council can say, yes, we are comfortable with, closing this road. We are comfortable if we need more policing, bringing in the policing, so long as it's, again, the costs are, but again, my plan is, I would need all those details to even know if I am or if I'm in favor or opposed to. Without the details, I don't know if I can have it.
Understand.
well, and that's what DPAC is trying to avoid, is having to plan an event and not even know if we're gonna put our stamp on it,
But
right?
without those details, I don't know if
Yeah.
it's okay or not.
I
right?
get
So
it,
just-
yeah, it's like a, yeah.
See, that is of course very understandable. Without understanding, you won't be able to approve. My concern is not, we are not talking about 1,000 people event here. And again, we are distracting from the topic. We are not saying, hey, I'm organizing 100 people event or 1,000 people event. I'm talking here, hey, we are organizing about 1,000 people event from a specific biker group who's claiming he's not gonna advertise his biker track. And is town okay with that? Because he's claiming that, okay, I don't wanna advertise my group, I don't wanna put the banner and everything.
Yeah, no,
You're
I
okay
get
with
it.
But, go ahead. But is he gonna, commit to that? And in that middle of situation, all of a sudden he pulled the flag or he pulled the banner, then I don't wanna take the whole responsibility. That is the only thing. 1,000 people, if there would be any generic 1,000 people, then I would have come on with completely different ideas and I would have had action plan written down and everything and say, hey, this is the area, this is the bar is gonna be set up and this is what, that is all secondary. This is like, hey, this is a biker group named on this and this, and he's trying to do this. And that was exactly my first question was, why you wanna do this? What is the moral? Like, do you wanna generate revenue for your group? What is going on? They said, no, we just want to express our thought process that we are not a bad bikers. We want, it can be a family event done by us also. And we're like, okay, if that's what you're thinking, sure, I have no problem with it. I can, otherwise I would have never even contacted.
We're not saying no right now, we need more detail.
Yes.
We gotta.
And detail in terms of, only details for this decision, I think.
I'd be happy to sit down with you guys at Ulster and go over this a little more, and then bring it back.
Yeah. That sounds perfect.
If that works for you guys, and that works for the council,
I was just gonna suggest,
well,
could you
yeah.
get more insurance for that weekend,
You know,
possibly?
Yeah, like, without, I mean, there's a, I have a lot of questions, I
Oh, yeah,
have a lot of details, to even
Yeah.
have an opinion at this
Right.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'd be happy to sit down maybe this weekend or something, whenever it's good for you guys. Come down there and we can sit down, have a coffee, and if anybody wants to join me from council, we can do that and have a better idea of what we're looking at.
No, that sounds actually perfect.
If that works for you guys. Okay. I think that's
a good solution.
I've already learned more than I knew last week.
Can you get a event license, from AGLC DPAC, just to show everybody all the details that AGLC requires? Like when, somebody, whether it's a private party, was planning an event, they have to pull an event plan from AGLC
Right.
and detail
Mhm.
as best as they can how the event will go, right?
Right.
And then it has to be approved by fire department, by police, by AHS, and by AGLC.
I mean, if you have it, I'm just gonna throw this out here. I mean, if you already have your parking lot, and all that stuff licensed for liquor, that doesn't have to change.
No.
They just don't drink on the street. If they're over at your establishment, they're not drinking, right? And that's, it's simple. So I mean, you don't even need the police approval or anybody like that, right?
No,
You need us to kind of give you a rubber stamp if we're gonna close the street or something like that, or if it's 7 people, you know, but.
You want to talk, why don't you talk? You want to talk.
Okay, be perfectly honest, there will be, in-house security.
Yeah, so we'll,
See, and that sort of stuff
I'll
is
overtalk
detailed,
Yeah.
that sort of,
Talk to you
Yeah.
there and,
You know, like I said, all wolves can open the doors.
Yeah.
And, like, we want to keep it family oriented, and that's
right,
exactly what
exactly. And that's what's, you know, that's what I would want too for the town. I mean, I want,
we want to make it
Yeah.
completely family
yeah,
oriented.
exactly.
no, I was just gonna suggest if you could have just a blank form, so everybody could kind of get a sight of what's expected in a plan for AGLC that you would have to present to AGLC.
There's no actual form, when you apply for, if you're applying as a private person,
Mhm.
organizing event, different thing,
Yeah,
we are already licensed.
right,
So for us, all we just email them, and then when they email us back, we have to give them an exact drawing where the stuff going to be,
yeah, exactly.
and then approximate number of people, then there will be acknowledgement letter I need to get from town, which even my last event, I got it from, town as well. And then there will be acknowledgement letter from fire department,
Mhm,
if the event is more than 100 people.
mhm.
And then there will be acknowledgement letter from Alberta Health.
And RCMP.
RCMP, Alberta Health is gonna automatically email them, AGLC automatically contact them, this is what happening in your town. When they expect town letter, they expect the town already aware, and it's already been notified or CC'd RCMP.
But it gives them opportunity to plan for more RCMP to be on staff that weekend.
But they're saying they may not need that.
Yeah,
I know.
So RCMP definitely gonna get notified.
Yeah.
Without getting notified, it will be impossible. Doesn't matter if we inform them or we don't get informed. Things will not get approved without they getting notified.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I just thought, if you could make it really transparent to everybody, if we have a little weekend meeting about it, that they can see that, oh, I didn't realize you need to do this, you need to do that. I've planned some events and I've seen the details that needs to go in it, but I don't know if John has, I don't know if Shelley has, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, every applicant will have different requirements and everything.
Yeah.
If you haven't handled alcohol day-to-day basis, they will ask you a lot of questions.
Yeah. And it's not a haphazard plan.
Right, and I can see this in 2 phases, is one, we are approving whether we're gonna even do this event. And we are rejecting while we are planning this event, it's not gonna possible. And even though we are okay to do 1,000 people, but we just realized it's not gonna be possible since we are canceling.
Well, I mean, it depends what school, what you do. I mean, if you're gonna have 1,000 people walking around the streets and drinking, yeah, that's probably not gonna happen. But if you're gonna have, like, at Lone Wolf, there, the guys in there with their bikes, and if they wanna have a drink, they go to the hotel, that's fine. You know, that's
Like a
different-
show and shine.
Oh, that's a different
Yeah,
story,
yeah, yeah.
you know, that's,
Yeah, show and shine that day, I think we got about 200, 250.
Yeah.
And we felt like everything was, cool. Like, you
Oh,
know, it was,
and you see
the
that-
only point was,
That's up to, once they go over there, that's up to you to control it, you know? and-
Well, I guess I agree that there's kind of a range here where
Yeah.
is it two private businesses holding private events on private property and it's none of the town's business at that point? Is it the town having some involvement? You could probably look at. Is it the town organizing it? I'm gonna say, no, we're not interested. Right, like there's a huge range here. There's a very big
But I
spectrum.
really like the idea of a show of time motorcycles. I really do. I think that's, your car show was perfect. I mean, it was well attended, and I saw people from Stony Plain and Duke and Millet, you name it, they were there.
right, and that day also, I think we blocked the street.
And,
We blocked the street.
yeah, we have to. So I think, like I said, I think if we leave it at that, we'll do a little bit, I'll talk to you guys, and we'll bring it back, and we'll talk it some more, and I think you understand where we're coming from right now.
No, understand, and absolutely, you guys can take out any time. If you want, we can even meet in Friday or Saturday at the hotel. Yeah. Then we can discuss about this for sure.
Anybody has any other discussion? Anything else you guys want to ask us, or? No? Okay. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Be back. I know you have to drive all the way from the city, but.
Yeah, no worries, thank you. I had to come anyway for part of it. But thank you, Darrell, I appreciate it for organizing.
We'll
Thank you, everybody.
we'll give it some more discussion, and we'll let you know.
Sounds good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that's it on our agenda. If anybody has any discussion before we have any camera, no other scoreless?
Oh, we still have to do the last
3.3.
3.3, Gerald.
Oh, the budget. Pardon me. 3.3, budget dates and council meetings. So, you guys all see the recommendations in there. And I'm not gonna go on this just for information, this is a recommendation, and I think that, you know, the big thing about this, I don't know, see, Donna, if you wanna talk about it a little bit or not?
Yeah, I certainly can, Mr. Mayor, thank you. This is just for your consideration. Of course, we know that you have time, now that the public works budget has been given, we know you're gonna need time to think about everything we're gonna do. We'll have binders ready for you and so forth, and you're gonna need that time. Of course, we have the final deliberation on the 24th and the passage of the tax bylaw. And what I mean by that, you can do it two ways, and it's not likely you will. I'm not recommending that you pass the tax bylaw on the same day as we finalize the budget, because we'll have to put in the new figures and so forth. You typically pass the tax bylaw at the next regular council meeting. You can, in a special meeting, pass the operational and capital, because the special meeting will be advertised as a special for budget. You can do that legally through the MGA, but you may choose to pass that at the next regular meeting with council as well, and then the tax bylaw behind it. We're also recommending that in April, we look at an April 5th cow, an April 12th regular, April 24th special meeting, April 26th regular meeting to pass the budget and bylaw. And then we're asking just this month only staff and council reports to be completed by the April 5th meeting, simply because we've been working on budget. So we'll look at that. And then we're proposing two meetings a month from May through to September. May 10th and 24th regular council is the last meeting of the month. So the first, May 10th would be cow, May 24th regular, June 17th cow, 24th regular, July 5th cow, 19th regular, August 9th cow, 23rd regular, September 6th cow, 20th irregular, and then in September we set the budget meetings for the 2023 budget. So we'll set deliberation times, the date we're going to pass it in council, and we'll propose that, is what I'm saying. So those are our thoughts with CEO Van Leest and myself thinking about this, and CEO Van Leest needs, so we're going the 24th to have the big deliberation meeting, because she needs time, and so do I, to get all the figures in, do the last bit of research, calculate some of your comments, questions that you provided here, And you'll have approximately 2.5 weeks with your binders to go through it, make your notes, ask us any questions before we deliberate from 10 to 4. All budget meetings, as we know, will be like it's advertised in the Target. They're all open to the public. And typically the public can ask questions about the budget typically at the end of the meeting because council and needs time to deliberate. So that is our recommendation for consideration.
And I think, you know, a big reason is, you know, I think having a meeting every week, it's great, but I mean, it's a drain on the administration, especially with the budget. And then we've got some other things coming up here with the water and all that stuff, and once we get that engineering, I'm sure there's gonna be a lot more stuff in there. And if it doesn't, we're finding that it's not enough, then we can go back to it. This is not in stone, this is just, you know, for a couple of months. And we'll look at it, so we'll at April 1st, 5th meeting, we'll look at the water, just to mention.
These dates are wonky. These dates don't make sense to me. So are we going with the 2nd to 4th, or are we going
the 10th and the 24th?
10th and the 24th, sorry, in June, is that what you're referring to?
Well, either we go with the 2 and the 4th, or we go with the 1st and the 3rd.
2 and the 4th.
Okay, so it should be the 2nd Tuesday and the 4th Tuesday every month, because it's not.
The only one that's out is,
July, August.
July would be the 12th and the
28th.
26th, yeah, and then the 9th and the 23rd. Yeah, so June should be the 10th and the 24th,
And so,
and then the 9th, or the 12th and the,
What month are you in?
and September would be the 13th and
oh,
the
sorry, June should
27th.
be the 7th and the 21st.
Did you say
We
second
were
and
tired
fourth?
last night.
We went through this.
Did you say second and
Okay,
fourth?
well,
or
you
first
can
and
fix
third?
it up.
Second and
Just we
fourth.
will fix it up. You guys know the idea.
Yeah, 14 and 28.
Well, you guys are saying the 2nd, 4th Tuesday. So then,
Second and fourth, yeah.
okay, so I have a couple things. So my thought process is, should we just go with 2 regular council meetings? Because at 2 regular council meetings, we can pass motions, we can take votes. Do we need a cow? Can we,
Yeah, we do.
We need one of these for each.
well, I think, but I mean, that means we're only once a month, we can make motions, we can vote on things.
Mhm.
You want to do this, yeah, that's why it's 2 weeks, or.
Well, that's why I'm suggesting 2 regular council meetings and
I
not
talked to Kelmar does,
3.
first Monday and the third Monday and then one count.
That's what I was thinking too.
But I mean, we can try this. We can think about it, and if you've got some different ideas, we'll flip it around, but, I don't know what the other communities are doing. I think Warwick is once, 1 and 1, and Renton is 1 and 1.
I don't know, I called
What
them all.
city isn't it?
All the time.
Oh.
Lots during the day. like-
I think we're, you know.
Yeah, but they're huge
Full-time
too,
council,
yeah.
Between their various committees and their towns,
Full-time.
they are in a meeting, but regardless of what you want to call it, most of the day.
Hey, I just think, like I say, I mean, you guys, it's been a drain on you guys like crazy, and, even if we can just do it until we get through all this stuff here, and then, we'll be doing all this, we can change it around, it's not anything, so. Try it for a month, if the month doesn't work, we can try and go back, what I mean? Flip around on it.
We're certainly proposing at least till September. We got audit coming too. And councils do, from all my experience in all these years, you do need a committee of the whole meeting. You have to be able to have the time to discuss things like tonight, right? So you can go through a budget, you can discuss it, you can ask questions, and you can think it through. That was the whole purpose of a committee of the whole meeting, so that you're not bound by, oh my God, we gotta get motions up, we gotta make decisions. So you have time to think things through. And especially as we move forward with the water and we're moving that, we're gonna need more of that time to deliberate. So then it makes the council meeting easier because you've already discussed and we run the motions, right? It's a little easier on a council meeting, and then we can add a few more things in. So that's just our thoughts on it. But we do have audit coming up, so we're plus a few other things.
Yeah, well, I know. For sure.
Well, I have just about 13 policies to write for your consideration for all your reserve stuff. And I need the time to think about it, so that you can think about it.
Is the next meeting March 29th?
Nope.
April 5th.
No,
we will send you
No
the
April
right.
29th.
No, it's not. And we'll send you the date.
Thank you.
Cindy and I,
Yeah.
I'll take the heat on that. I messed up on the date.
Well, and I did too, because you know what, there's five Tuesdays, and I was just going every kind of other one, so that's when we were doing it last night, after our long day, so I'm like, okay, she's asking me, and I got the calendar, and I was, yeah, so,
They'll see you when we fall.
my fault.
There you go. So I take the heat, it's my responsibility. We will adjust that and we will have it for the next meeting. Appreciate that. Good catch. Thank you, Councilor Rash.
I was looking at them and I'm like, this makes no sense whatsoever.
Everybody's okay with the budget dates,
sir?
Sorry?
Everybody's okay with the budget date?
Those dates are right.
Yeah.
24th is where we talked about that.
Yeah.
Correct. And that will be advertised as a special. That way, if you choose to make a motion on that day, you can, it will be a special, advertised as a, will be advertised as a special the budget meeting.
Anybody have any other discussion? Any other questions? Ladies, do you have anything you want to talk about back there? Okay, if I can get a motion to adjourn then.
I will move to adjourn.
You, all in favor? Thanks. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't.